a few prerequisites that you will need before starting. This tutorial isn't targeted towards new speedrunners since there are a lot of movement techniques you will need to learn in order to set up the file properly. All speed tech won't be explained, so you must have a bare understanding of how to progress through some planets. It's very important to do some research on the Ratchet and Clank trophies so that you know how to avoid accidentally collecting these. First things first, you'll need to create a new PlayStation account so that you can authenticate with the PSN leaderboards. Make sure you never accidentally pick up a trophy or else you'll have to start from scratch again, make a new profile and repeat everything you've done up until that point. The timer for this speedrun only starts upon collection of the first trophy. You can play through most of the game casually, however you should stay away from skill points and other trophy triggers. I'm going to split this video into two parts. Collecting all the gold bolts and progressing through the levels, and finishing and advancing skill points that may or may not have trophies tied to them. Once you're in the game, progress through until you've reached Rilgar. By this point you should have at least 2 gold bolts on Nivalis, 3 gold bolts on Kerwan, 1 gold bolt on Eudora, 1 gold bolt on Blarg, and 1 gold bolt on Rilgar. From this point on, be careful of what you've used your bolts on. As an example, I used 2.5k bolts for the Taunter weapon and 500 bolts for the Iridia Infobot, meaning I have 997,000 bolts to collect before I get the 1 million bolts trophy. This is where you'll be setting up for that trophy. You can get out of bounds by doing this movement and going to the race course. Follow the same route I do until you reach these boxes and then use the Taunter on it. If set up correctly, you should be getting 1k bolts for roughly every 65 seconds. Depending on how many bolts you started with, to get roughly 990,000 bolts, it'll take 17.5 hours. After that, you can buy everything you would ever need, but be careful not to accrue many more bolts. Using some speed tech, you should be able to obtain the following additional requirements upon reaching Auxon for the first time. 2 gold bolts on Umbris, 2 gold bolts on Battalia, and 4 out of 4 gold bolts on Iridia using this SI. Grind boots obtained on Blarg, and a hoverboard obtained from Iridia, although this is optional. As Clank, you must use the infamous Clank proxy to get the Pokitaro Infobot, otherwise you will not be able to avoid the Magna boots using the casual route. This actually softlocks Ratchet from getting the gold bolt the casual way on a second visit. The Magna boots have a trophy tied to it, so we must avoid it. Now progress through Gaspar and Pokitaro so that you can return to Auxon as Ratchet. By this point, you should have an extra 2 gold bolts on Gaspar and 1 gold bolt on Pokitaro. This is where things get interesting, so pay attention. Using these SIs, you can avoid collecting the Magna boots and continue on towards the gold bolt, but be careful as one false move can erase hours of preparation. I use this SI route to get to the roof of this building and can then continue on to the gold bolt. Afterwards, continuing on with Ratchet's section, it is best to not whack any of these electric gates down because there is a trophy tied to this skill point. Instead, use tippy toes to get to this checkpoint. Then die. Chase the Infobot around until you get it to the final location. Without the Magna boots, you can't just walk up there, but because you died and respawned at that checkpoint earlier, an elevator has appeared that will take you back to the ship. Do the same SIs from before to get through the remaining part of Clank's section, and then high jump here to collect the Infobot. If you don't glide by holding X during the cutscene, the screen will go dark because the fade in has overlapped with the death. It's not that bad since you can reload and fix that. You've now managed to get past Auxon and skip the Magna boots. You can collect the final gold bolt easily enough as well, which will put you at 2 for 2. Now by using more speed tech, you can get through Hoven and collect the following items along the way. 2 gold bolts, the Hydro Pack by using this movement if need be, and Raritanium. Move on to the next planet, Gamlik. Progress through until you're just about to fight Quark. Quit out and don't progress after this point as there is a trophy tied to beating Quark. Collect a gold bolt on this planet using the Visibomb to lower the electric gate, and backtrack to all earlier planets for gold bolts if need be. Refer to the All Gold Bolt speedrun for ideas on how to get these gold bolts if there are any struggles. Lastly, go to Rilgar to initiate the race, either by using the hoverboard or by going out of bounds. Get first place, but get a time that is slower than 1 minute and 35 seconds. This will get you the Platinum Zoomerator. Then trade it on Iridia for the Sandmouse helmet that will be used on Battalia once the speedrun begins. By now you should have all the equipment, Gadgeton weapons, ammo and items that you will need for the speedrun, as well as all available gold bolts with plenty of bolts to spare. This excludes the Rhino since this weapon has a trophy tied to it, but this also includes the Slingshot since there is a skill point tied to this gadget. In the speedrun, there are 20 out of 30 skill points that have trophies tied to them. 7 of these skill points are available to complete before the run starts. These skill points are Blimpy, take out a blimp, any blimp, on Kerwan. Swing It, traverse final 6 slingshot targets in factory without touching the ground on Iridia. Jumper, get through the grind rail without losing a hit point on Battaglia. Accuracy counts, destroy a small fighter with the turret on Battaglia. Gunner, down 5 ships with a turret on Gaspar. Alien Invasion, shoot down 3 Blarg sources with Visibombs on Pokitaru. Whirlybirds, destroy 5 helicopters with any weapon other than the turret on Hoven. Once you've completed this step, there is only a small thing left to do, which is important for a slight time save, but may be risky to set up and is therefore optional. I recommend doing this right before starting the speedrun to avoid resetting any manips and triggers. On Iridia, shoot 2 out of 3 flying transports. On Eudora, shoot 7 out of 10 vehicles. On Gaspar, blow up all but 1 Blarg destroyer. On Gemlik, destroy all but 1 cargo ship. By this point, you can finally start the speedrun. Remember that there are 3 more skill points that do not have trophies tied to them that have to be completed in order to get the 30 out of 30 skill points trophy, and also the rest of the gold bolts have to be collected. You can watch my speedrun for an idea of what the route looks like so that you can give it a proper shot. Thanks for watching, subscribe for more speedruns and videos. Yeehaw, woohoo, yay.
That rhythm.